Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into something pretty significant, the U.S.-China economic relationship.
Yeah, specifically this growing talk about, well, decoupling.
Exactly. We've got several reports here looking at the drivers, the current state of play. This is May 2025, and what it means globally.
And the big headline right now, it's the trade tensions. They've really escalated.
Escalated is putting it mildly, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. You've got U.S. tariffs, some hitting, what, 145% on Chinese imports?
And China's hitting back, right, up 225% on some U.S. stuff.
Precisely. And, this isn't just some minor tiff. It's causing major headaches for global supply chains.
Creating a lot of uncertainty everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Definitely rattling markets.
Okay, but it's not total radio silence. There's this planned meeting in Geneva.
That's right. Senior officials, supposedly to talk de-escalation.
So maybe dialing back tariffs, export controls too.
That seemed to be the agenda, yeah. But the report suggests both sides are going in very cautiously.
Protecting national interests first and foremost, I imagine.
You got it. And that caution makes sense when you look at the economic fallout, particularly in the U.S.
Yeah, talk about that. The stock market's been jumpy.
Very volatile. And lots of analysts are, well, predicting more dips. High interest rates are part of it, sure.
But the trade uncertainty is a big piece of that puzzle.
A major factor, no question.
And we're not just talking share prices. The forecasts for actual U.S. GDP, they're looking a bit grim.
Yeah, even with some potential easing on tariffs, some forecasts see a potential hit of like 2 to 3 percentage points.
Wow. That's a serious drag on growth.
It really is. And look, it's crucial for listeners to get this. The impact isn't just U.S.-China. This is global.
Right, it spills over.
Definitely.
Uh-huh.
We're seeing data now showing, for example, a dip in UK business activity.
And they're linking that directly to these trade issues.
Directly attributed to the U.S.-China headwinds, yeah.
We also saw that news about Philips, the electronics giant.
Yes. Cutting their profit estimates for the year.
And they specifically called out the trade war, didn't they?
They did. Called it a significant challenge. It just shows how tangled up the global economy still is, despite all this decoupling talk.
So that brings us to the core question, I guess. Is this just a rough patch or something more permanent?
Well, the analysis we're seeing suggests it's probably leaning towards more permanent. A real shift.
Why is that?
It boils down to some pretty deep structural differences, in how the U.S. and Chinese economies are set up.
Okay.
And their strategic goals seem to be diverging more and more.
Can you give a quick example of a structural difference? What does that mean in practice?
Sure. Think about the role of the state in the economy. China has significant state direction, support for key industries.
Right.
Whereas the U.S. model is, generally more market-led. These aren't just small differences.
They're fundamental approaches.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that fuels the tension, the drive on both sides for more self-reliance, protecting their own tech, their own industries.
So if you put all these pieces together,
Yeah.
what's the big picture takeaway?
We're probably looking at a real reshaping of the global economic order.
Meaning,
More protectionism, I think. Countries focusing inward, securing their own supply chains.
and maybe shifting alliances too.
Could be. Nations trying to figure out where they fit in this more fragmented landscape.
Okay, so let's recap quickly. We've got these intense U.S.-China trade tensions. Tariffs are sky high.
Mm-hmm. Real economic pain, not just for them, but globally too.
And the signs point towards this being a longer-term shift, a kind of decoupling driven by these basic structural issues.
That sums up the key points from the sources pretty well.
So something for you, the listener, to chew on. If we are heading towards more economic separation, more protectionism, what does that mean for adaptation?
Yeah, how do businesses, maybe even individuals, adjust their plans?
What new challenges pop up? Or maybe even new opportunities in this changing world trade picture?
Definitely a lot to think about. Complex stuff with big implications.